Alright, we are locked and loaded. I think we are good to go. Okay, so we are picking up where we left off. And where we left off the other day was with this inner circle companion. So we finished off a fair bit of this dude. So we're going to look at putting on a coat of streaking grime to act as sort of a shade, an overall tint to the model. Eagle Eye, how are you, mate? It's very quick to join the chat. Thanks, mate. Oh, Achieve. Mate, you must have got notifications turned on or something. So good. So, I'm just going to make sure my computer doesn't tank out on me. So yes, as I was saying, we are going to go in with a coat of streaking grime on our inner circle companion. I've got it half prepped on the palette off screen. So I'm just going to get the brush wet with streaking grime and ready to rock and roll. The only thing I don't like about streaking grime is it's bloody smelly. It smells like chemicals. So I think you got to be a little bit careful when you use this stuff. Should probably be wearing a mask, I reckon. But we're not using it for too long, so don't need to worry too much. So let's get into it, shall we? And for those of you who may not have watched any of my streams before on TikTok, it for some reason with green, it comes up as a green screen. So you might be seeing like purple, pink colors on the armor parts. And I promise you, that is not what it looks like in real life. For some reason, it's just got a weird green screen effect on that. And I have no idea how to turn that off. No worries, Eagle or Achieve. And Shekvo, how are you? Good to see you. Okay, so we've popped that on. What we're going to do is let that dry for maybe a minute or two, and then we can go in and remove it. I've left the sword for the time being because I think what we're going to do is put a bit of focus on it, rather than just a coat of metallic paint. I think we can make it a little bit nicer. So that's what we're going to do. I'm your biggest fan. That's great. I'm glad. Okay, while this is drying, I'm going to swap out my palettes because we're not going to need this dirty ass palette with the streaking grime any longer. Clipper Gaming, how are you? So I'll swap this out for our wet palette and we can start doing a little bit of stuff on another model while that's drying for the minute. Smoky B, just passing through, but want to say, as a Warhammer fan, that is one fucking sick model you have there. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. So, while this is drying, as I said, we're going to maybe just start on one of these guys. So this is finished model that we've got for the Stern Guard veterans, but we're painting up some blade guards in this same scheme, which I have here, and is one of the completed ones too. So this is what we're going to end up doing for that other blade guard, this one here. Kushpi. Yo, that looks awesome. Thanks, dude. Appreciate it. Don't know the term, but do you have any of the blue armor guys? I think the one you are looking for is Ultramarines. And I certainly do. Here they are, right here. Some of my Ultramarines that I've painted up. And I've got one more to the side. Just here. That I have also done. Thanks, mate. Glad you like the chainsword. Do I have any tips for new painters? Ask the Gaming. Tip for a new painter. If you've never painted before, literally just give it a shot. Like literally grab a few paints, whatever color you want to paint up your mini. If it's a space marine and you want to do Blood Angels, for example, pick up a couple of reds, maybe a silver paint and a black paint or whatever, and just go for it. The thing that you want to do with your first few models is just be happy and get some paint on the thing, on the model in the first place. Then you can start looking into improving over time. Because if you're new to the hobby, with any hobby, you don't want to dive in and buy all the tools if you don't know you're going to stick around for the long term, if you know what I mean. So yeah, only need a couple of paintbrushes, maybe one or two, probably two, to begin with, a few paints and a model or two, and you're good to go. Damn bro, the finished model looks dope as hell. Thanks man, appreciate it. And Kushby, thank you for the heart. You're a bloody legend, dude. I didn't see that before. That is gumdrop button worthy. Thank you for the gumdrop buttons. So we are just removing, and I promise I'll get to your other comments, guys. I just want to keep painting as well, because otherwise I get stuck yapping and no one gets to see any painting. So need to, balance that out, but I promise I'll try and get to all your comments. And for those of you on TikTok as well, I'm also streaming on YouTube at the same time, so I can reach more hobbyists like you. Are the Imperial Guard a good starter army? Alex, I'm not too sure because I don't actually play the game. I have been in the hobby for a long time, but gaming's not been the my priority. I really just sort of love painting. I do like the look of the Imperial Guard, but in terms of, how it performs as an army, I'm not too sure, sorry. Bro, how do you do that? Not too sure what you're asking there. Oh, mate. Sorry, my girlfriend's here. Yes, I can help you. What would you like? Oh, you're on your chair. Okay, there you go. No worries. You alright? My hands are too shaky to do this, but I love seeing it, mate. Have fun. Thanks, Kushby. I appreciate it. Oh, and Rara Ruspatine. Thank you so much for the donut. You are a bloody legend. I love good donuts. And hello, my friend. How are you? That is definitely gumdrop button worthy. So, Iwan, bro, how do you do that? I'm not too sure what you were talking about, but maybe one of the finished models. Look, for an overall model, just takes time and practice. You just gotta have some patience and keep painting. That's really all I can say as a tip. It's like anything. You need to practice to get better. Everyone starts somewhere, and I've been doing it for a long time, and I've still got lots of areas that I could improve in. Any tips for me? I am mid at painting for Clipper Gaming. If you've only ever painted with like contrast paints, it's a sort of a common thing that I see people who they start with contrast paints, and then they want to improve. I would challenge you to start using just acrylics and not use contrast paints at all on a model, and just work with playing with base coats, layers and highlights, because it then makes you think about where to place lights, like light placement. And that is key to painting at a higher level. It's about building your own highlights and light sources rather. So yeah, that's probably a tip if you're wanting to improve. Rara Ruspatine, love your snow base guide, going to try it. Thanks dude, appreciate it. Yeah, I whipped that one up the other day. I made a lava base one a while back and thought I'd make the sequel and do the opposite one. Oscar prefers Age of Sigmar. I would have to say that I am a 40k fan more than Age of Sigmar, but I do love my Age of Sigmar as well. I think I love Warhammer in general. Okay, I'm going to bring back the wet palette now because we've kind of done what we wanted to do with the streaking grime. Meatloaf, thank you very much. I think Imperial Knight's a good starter. Army D's nuts. Again, not too sure, my friend. I'm not into the gaming side. Maybe someone in the chat might be able to give you a better tip than I can. But in terms of painting, hell yeah, they're cool looking models. We've got a Blood Angels player here. Hobby, how do you apply your stickers? Because I have stickers for my Death Corps of Creep and I don't know how to apply them. I assume you're talking about the decals and the water slide decals. I applied some on a stream a little while back, live. But really what you want to do is get these two products here. I'll show you. It's behind the camera. Decal Softener and Decal Fix. These are going to be your best friend when you're applying the decals. What you want to do is put the Decal Fix on first. It's kind of like a gloss varnish, so it makes the surface all nice and smooth. Then you slide the decal onto it, put it in place, and when you're happy with where it's positioned, slap on some of this. It'll kind of melt the decal to conform to the surface, and you are ready to rock and roll. You are cooking. Rara, thank you very much again, mate, for the, what are they? Fluffy penguins. Thanks, mate, appreciate it. That is 100% gumdrop button worthy. Thank you very much. What else do we have here? We've got a few more comments here on TikTok. What do we got? I was painting my inner circle companion and just saw this. Hell yeah, dude. And Joshua, dude, what is your gold recipe? That looks amazing. At the moment, this gold has literally just been one color and one color only, and it's been Necro Gold from scale 75 to this point right now. So we are going to add some highlights now to our green. Now I'm thinking we're going to do a mix of Vallejo Game Color and Scorpy Green. So you've got Scorpy Green and Angel Green from Vallejo Game Color. And we'll see if that's the color that we want. Mediocre Painter, hello my friend. Cornwallis, Ezekiel, Keeper of Secrets, question mark. This dude here is an inner circle companion. one of those new box guys from the new sort of box set from the Dark Angels. Josh, so that I hopefully answered your question about it being a Dark Angel. And Meatloaf had a contrast paint only phase, but then I tried mixing my paints. And not only did it harmonize the palettes, but it created this incredibly matte finish that I adore. Yeah, that's good, man. I think just starting to experiment is, the first steps in improving. Now, I sometimes buy models just literally to challenge myself because I like the way it looks. And I want to see if I can do a particular type of paint job. I think this might be the green that we're after. It's not too bright, which we don't want to be too abnormally bright. I think that might be nice. So that's just a 1-to-1 mix of the colors that I previously mentioned. Doom Destroyer, hello. Sean, what's happening, dude? Shackers, man. How are ya? Kaiju, is that the chapter master of the Dark Angels? Unfortunately not. I've already painted him up, I think. I think the chapter master is Azrael, I think the name is. I painted him up probably about a year ago for the same guy that I'm painting this model for. So it will be joining that army. But a very cool model nonetheless. Mediocre. You've probably heard this question a million times, but what is your overall favorite chapter? I have heard that question a million times, and I'm going to give you the same answer. And it's a cop-out, but it is the truth. I do not have a favorite chapter, unfortunately. I've painted a lot of Space Marines, and personally, my personal army, I have not been able to finish one because I keep chopping and changing between the color schemes because I like them all so much. If I had to lean towards something, it would maybe be something Blood Angels-y, whether that's Blood Angels themselves or a successor chapter. Inquisitor, thank you very much. Jumping back here on TikTok, can I ask, how do you get your paints to look so smooth? Mine looks so blotchy. George, you just need to sort of, one, give them a good shake. I find that can be just a simple solution. Because sometimes if you don't shake them properly, they do really weird things. Like stay looking shiny and stuff like that if the chemicals don't mix properly. And then first and foremost, if it's blotchy or chunky, it means you're not thinning it down enough. So you need to be thinning your paints with water. Bakey Wakey, hey yo. Hey dude, how are ya? Josh, you are welcome, my friend. Give it a go for your Blood Angels. Been mixing a few golds to get something similar. Yes, give it a shot. The highlight color that you would use for that is Peridot Alchemy as well. So Necro Gold, wash it with the Streaking Grime if that's the look you're going for. And then a highlight of Peridot Alchemy and your gold will be looking fucking sick. L, don't know what these are, but your boyfriend does them too. Your boyfriend is enlightened. I am happy to tell you, L. These are Warhammer minis. This is a Dark Angel that we're painting up. And clearly your boyfriend is favored by the Emperor. Thank you for the fluffy penguin, Josh. That is gumdrop button worthy. Thank you, my friend. Rara Ruspatine, what is your favorite Chaos Lord? In terms of model aesthetic, I mean, I've painted up Khan, the Betrayer. That's pretty cool, if you could call him a Chaos Lord. I think just the Horus model looks sick, and you know, he's a Lord, I would say. So maybe Horus, I reckon. Abaddon also looks really cool. Chloe, are you single? I am not, unfortunately. I am happily taken. My girlfriend actually popped in before to grab her stuff. not to tell me I'm being too loud, which is sometimes the case. He's just a little nerd, L. Yeah, aren't we all? We're all a little bit nerdy here. Cornwallis back on YouTube. Will you do a wash on this miniature? I already have, so I've done a wash of Streaking Grime. That'll probably do it for the overall wash. I think what we're doing now, the highlighting, will really make it sort of pop. So that's sort of going to be our focus for the next little while, is just picking out these highlights and really making our pre-work shine through that, which is why we sort of do all that base coating step before. A couple more here. What do we get? Very excited for the new Horus Heresy models like the Combat Patrol and new Heresy Drop Pod. Achieve. Honestly, I'm more of a fan of 40k than Horus Heresy. I just like the look of like that Horus model that people paint up. I think the Primarch ones, like, they're just very cool models, so I can appreciate them. But as an overall sort of model set, game set, 40k is my jam. Don't listen to him, he loves salamanders. We all love salamanders. There is lots of salamanders lovers that seem to find my lives. You guys are out in droves. I love it. Bakey Wakey, have I ever done Battle Sisters? I haven't, unfortunately. That is another one. There's a few factions out there that I haven't painted. So there's a lot on my to-do list. Mr. Grimm, is this a D&D thing? It looks super dope. Thanks, dude. But yes, I think someone's also jumped in. It is Warhammer 40,000. Is this Garen from League of Legends? This is definitely not Garen shouting for Demacia. This is an Inner Circle companion for the Dark Angels. Thank you, guys. And lol, did I get the Saturnine box set? I did not. I have way too many models already. I can't be adding to my pile of shame. Otherwise, it will just be never ending, which it already feels like it is. Cornwallis has been getting into using magnets for customizing miniatures. Absolute game changer. Hell yeah. I'm assuming you're talking about like magnetizing weapon options, arms, and or head swaps. I think that's cool. Really sort of maximizing a different look and feel that each model can do, and for a gaming perspective, I guess it makes it better. Haley, what's your favorite? I love Blood Angels. You have very good taste. I said before I don't have favorites, but if I were to lean towards one, I'd probably say Blood Angels or one of their successors. And Xander paints Tyranids. Very nice, Xander. What color scheme are your bugs? Space Wolves always look epic. Love their colors. I agree, Cornwallis. Space Wolves are also really sick. I had a phase when I was a kid / teenager where I wanted to do Space Wolves, so I've definitely owned a few of those models back in the day. And his little feet, little ones poking out, a couple of little highlights. That looks alright for now. Might fix up near his hand, make that pop a little bit more. Ross, thank you for the kind words, mate. Appreciate it. Achieve is going to head off. Will I be back in an hour? Will I still be on stream? Hopefully. I might go for another 45 minutes or so at least, maybe to about 10 o'clock-ish. I need to get onto a somewhat normal sleeping schedule because I can't keep staying up till midnight and then going to work the next day. It just ain't good. Bakey Wakey, it'd be super cool to see you paint a battle statistics and painting them and have no clue what I'm doing. Yeah, yeah, if I get my hands on one, for sure. I just don't have any, unfortunately, in my collection. And yeah, I still got a lot to get through. But you can kind of, like, because they've got armor, I feel like you can apply some of those skills that you learn, or if you watch people painting Space Marines, there's a few things that you can translate over. I do understand that they're quite small in comparison, so that's something you'd need to consider as well, and obviously are probably finding a bit of a challenge too. Rara Ruspatine, how do you determine the edge highlight color? Just a little lighter than the base coat? Yeah, I kind of look at sort of, if you have a look here, it's going to go a bit weird on TikTok, but this is sort of the mid-tone color, and this is the max highlight. It's so green that you can't even see it because it's going to green screen. This is probably a fraction too bright. Like, you don't want it to be too extremely bright because then it looks a bit odd. So I just sort of mixed it down. So I think it's safe to say, like, the mid-tone color that you're using for the model, and then the extreme highlight kind of mixed together, you can kind of play around with it to get a nice sort of balance for your edge highlights. Slimex Disco, finish up my Demon Army soon. Just need to paint Scarbrand. Oh, hell yeah. Sounds like a Corn Demon Army. And Domi the Creator. Yo, would love to do a Dungeons and Dragons campaign, but for Warhammer. I reckon that'd be pretty sick. Hell yeah. And do I print any, or is my whole army from sprues? I don't print, I don't have a printer, and these are all official models, but these ones, the ones that I'm painting up on stream, are not actually my models. I'm painting them up as part of a commission. So I've been sent these models to paint up for a client. Back on YouTube. No Sleep Gang, 6 AM, and I'm on a 72-hour binge of building Astra Militarum and Necrons. Also, you destroyed your wallet buying around 600 points to make a White Scars caravan. Dude, get some sleep. The hobby will be here. You don't need to burn yourself out like that. That's crazy. But dedication, nonetheless. Have I ever painted up a Titan? I feel like it's mainly a job for the airbrush. I have, like, I would call it a Titan. It was a Chaos Knight Rampager. It was probably the biggest model that I've ever painted. And I did the smooth panels with the airbrush, but then all the trim and freehand and stuff, that was all done by the brush, and took a long time, but I think the result was worth it, so I was very happy with that. But with an airbrush, I feel like you would just be pulling, without an airbrush rather, you'd just be pulling your hair out, because like there's just so much surface area to cover. How long have I spent on this model? Ross, good question. Probably a couple of hours, however long I was live on stream yesterday. I think it was just under 2 hours maybe. And I did a little bit off screen, so I'd probably say about 3 so far. That's because on live I paint so much slower because I got to try and make sure that the model's in frame. So it's not normally where I paint. Normally I paint like really close to my face, but that's not the case when I'm streaming because I got the camera here and the setup, and I'm reading comments as well. But yeah, I try to paint as fast as I can. Em, thank you for sharing. Appreciate that. Slimeworks, not just corn for your demon army. You got graded demon of each, bunch of Nurgle, Zinch, battle line. Oh, dude, you got the whole thing. Oh, the whole kit and caboodle. Good stuff. Big Billy, just stopping by to say rock on and have a great one. Thanks, dude. Thanks for dropping the comment. Appreciate it. What have we got here? We got some late people staying up late watching the stream. Hell yeah. Mental raccoon glass, not a woman for miles. Not sure what you're referring to here, but I'm pretty sure we've got some lovely ladies in the chat in TikTok and probably on YouTube. Probably just not dropping any comments, which is fine. Got heaps of people that just like to tune in and just chill out, watch the stream. Looks great. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Do you only do authentic or do you ever go crazy with the colors? Says James. What was that just popped up on my screen? A little wing. Thanks. Thanks, Rory. I appreciate that. You're a legend. That's a gumdrop button for sure. Yeah, do I ever go crazy? I do like to follow sort of like the lore, because I find enjoyment out of just listening to some of the lore and then trying to paint that up, or seeing some artwork and wanting to paint up something similar. I mean, I could go crazy. Don't know, I've seen people paint up like bright pink or like fluoro looking marines and stuff. I don't know, I just feel like I'd be bad at it because it's like very abstract. But maybe that's a challenge I could do for myself. Get me out of my comfort zone. I'll always only see people make these so dull colors. I mean, that's kind of the aesthetic of 40k though. It's the grimdark aesthetic. You know, there's no hope. It's all war, all battle. I mean, you can do whatever you want. They're your models, so paint them however the fuck you want. At the end of the day, who cares? I get comments on my videos saying that I can't paint and they look like shit. I mean, people can say whatever they want, as long as you're happy with it. Like, whatever, it's all good. Chief, you're addicted. It's all good, Brad. If you have to go do stuff, go do stuff. I will always be here. If not tonight, another night. So don't let me stop you. Kev, Den in the chat, goated. Shout out to you guys. G'day, David. How are you? It's been happening. David, I'm pretty sure it's the same David with the brother who's a commission painter. I did look up your brother, and he does some fantastic work. So hats off to him. Have I tried painting the space sharks, aka the Carcharodons, I believe? No, but the grey sort of look is one that I am quite fond of. There's just so many different types and chapters to paint. Like, there's literally thousands. I just don't have the time to get around to them all, which is a shame. Because then I also want to paint like the Chaos Marines as well, you know. Frixels looks great, man. Thank you. Any tips for doing the trim? Says no one. I mean, this was a fairly simple paint job for this particular model. No one. It was a base coat of Necro Gold, a wash that we used for all over the model, streaking grime, and now I'm going in with Peridot Alchemy for a highlight, and that's going to be it. So the tip is literally those couple of colors. Practice with a steady hand if you can. And we're just sort of doing an edge highlighting with the Peridot Alchemy. We're not covering the entire surface. Cornwallis, the old Space Marine Codex had heaps of chapters with vivid colors. We don't hear much about them anymore. Yeah, that's right. I mean, how old's 40k and stuff? It's like 35 years old, right? So like that was like in the 90s. Everything was a bit more vibrant back then, and that was reflected in the artwork and stuff. So like, I think it's just changed over time, and they really adopted the grim dark aesthetic, and that's sort of why we have these more, I guess, gritty looking models and paint schemes and stuff. But as I said, it's personal preference. They're your models, paint them however you like. And if anyone tells you otherwise, tell them to fuck off. Steven, looks good, bro. I'm in the middle of painting a Brutalis Dreadnought. Hell yeah. Wreaking havoc, I see. And Achieve has decided to stay. You're a legend, mate. Thanks, Mediocre. Appreciate you dropping by. Have a good one. What do we got back over here? Keegan, what color did I use for the cloak? I used for this cloak a mix of colors. The primary one being dark burgundy from Pro Acryl as the sort of base coat. And then I built up the textured highlights by mixing in this brown rose from Vallejo model color, slowly but surely to kind of build up higher highlights, and that was it. The two paints for that. Mike Greaves ordered some Intercessor sprues off eBay for my Dark Angels army, and they're Space Wolves. Is that a crying emoji? Are you sad that they're Space Wolves? I would be happy. Regardless, because you can always shave it off if you don't like it. I mean, there's a bit of fur, you know. But you could just say that they were the branch of the Dark Angels that, you know, were on Caliban hunting all the wildlife or some shit like that. Madara, how long does it take for you to paint a Chaos Space Marine? It took me 5 hours on a single mini, like a Legionnaire. Can't remember. I don't remember the last time I timed it. Corn Berserkers, for example, that I painted up, not that long, because I used, I was experimenting with a contrast paint or a speed paint for the red armor, and that cut down the time significantly. Could probably paint it in about two hours or so, maybe 3 if you're wanting to be a bit more precise. So here's the result. This dude here, I painted up, I would say no more than about 3 hours to paint this guy up. It was fairly quick once you hit the Slaughter Red speed paint from the Army Painter, and then my mix for brass, like, yeah, it doesn't take long at all. Rara Ruspatine, thank you for the roses and the heart, my friend. You are an incredible supporter, and you are very invincible. Thank you very much. I do appreciate it. Antiphobic, going to add shadows. I might add some shadow effects on the sword, like some reflections, but I'm not going to go too crazy. It's not a display piece. This is more for gaming tabletop. So probably not going to go too hard on the shadows and volumetric highlights on this fellow. 40k, it is 40k. Beep boop. Do you play Kill Team with me? I don't play, unfortunately, Bill. Maybe someone else will. Alex paints Black Legion edge highlighting for years. Oh, dude, I know. Just like here, like edge highlighting black in particular. Like this guy, this Black Templar. I know it's not Black Legion, but it's black. Yeah, takes a long time. So I feel you. I have painted up many cultists, but I don't have them on me, unfortunately, because they were a commission, so they've been sent off. But all on my socials and stuff, you can find photos of some of those guys that I've painted up before. Yuki. Hey, my Blood Angel captain is on the way to bright red. How can I darken it easy? Want to make him dirty. I mean, Yuki, depending on what you've got. Oh no, I was showing you the Corn Berserker. Sorry, I've been distracted. And I put it away, and I didn't even realize it fell off and he broke his fucking arm. Bruh. That is sad trombone. Fucking hell. Oh, well, we'll have to fix that at some point. Rip. Anyway, I guess a tip, like this red was a lot brighter before I put a coat of not varnish, streaking grime on it. So that's possibly a solution for you if you own streaking grime or want to use enamel paints. Otherwise, what I'd suggest is maybe looking at a wash of Nuln Oil or something like that. Just to bring the tone down, or rattling grime as a contrast paint. That will bring the tone of your red right down if you've gone a bit too bright. Love the green you kept on the armor. Thank you, Dylan. Appreciate it. Do I play Kill Team? That's alright, Bill. No, I don't. I am just a painter. I don't, unfortunately, play the game. Maybe one day, but today's not the day. And Alex, paintings group is in Sydney. Always paint society socially for the hang. Hell yeah, dude. That's great. Yeah, there's lots of little painting groups that I see all around the place. It's really good to have that bit of company. Am I going to paint the islands as red? Achieve, yes I am. I will be painting these red. And let me have a quick think about what the next step will be. Otherwise I'm just going to keep yapping. What I might do is I might just, let's do a little bit of highlighting on the leather effect. I cleaned up my desk earlier today, so I don't know where I put all my paints. Kind of put them all away. So give me 1 second while I get out the leather paints. Alrighty. Yeah, rip the arm. Fuck. No good. So what I might do, I'm going to go with Mournfang Brown, because the wash has slightly darkened it, which is good, it's what we wanted. So we're going to go in with some Mournfang Brown just to highlight up that leather a little bit, make it look a bit distressed, a bit old. Alex, Black Templar wash. The wash that I used in the Black Templar is, I think it's called Desert Camo. I can't see it on my desk. It might be put away somewhere. Desert Camo from AK Interactive. It's like it's almost like a bone colored enamel wash. It's like a sandy color. And it works really well because I was going for that like dirty, dusty black look, and was quite happy with that result. So Dylan, any plans for the sword or blade? It's going to be painted up like the box art, like in terms of the color scheme, which is, I think it's not like a silver like the rest of the model. It's a bit more non-metallic looking, so probably go along the lines of that. I will have to get up a reference photo again because I can't quite remember the exact look of the colors, but once I have a peek at them, we'll try and replicate them. When you paint, do you build the whole mini first, then paint, or do you paint it piece by piece? Personally, if I'm painting for like a high quality or display, I will paint in what's called a sub-assembly, which is what you're referring to by painting it piece by piece, because then you can get into all the nooks and crannies. Yeah, but if you're painting just for like tabletop or speed painting, paint it all built. You're going to save so much time. Nadine, hello, how are you? Good to see you. You cleaned a desk. Do I get a tour now? I'll give you a quick little tour, guys. My room is very messy here. I cleaned the paint section, so you can have a look here if I can pull it out. I don't know. Oh no, it's all restricted. Hang on. Maybe that's not the best one to do. I'll use my phone if I can. Fucking throwing out the camera. Let me fix it back up. I'm zoomed in a little bit, but you might get the general gist, and you guys are going to see yourself. But that's like my paint rack and my paint little workstation, and then all the models that I have on the side ready to show you guys when you guys request it. So let's clip it back in there and get painting. It looks tidy. Oh, nah, it's definitely not, Dean. It is, it's dusty and needs a proper clean at some point, but that is not the time for it right now. Wow, that shelf looks awesome. Thanks, Rara. I made it myself. I went to the local hardware store, bought some wood, put it together. So it's a bit rough, but it does the job. How much paint do I reckon I've eaten, Dennis? Probably a shit ton, mate. Maybe that's why my IQ is as low as it is. Another one who had their soul money stolen by Warhammer. Yeah, I mean, just looking at the paint, that's a lot of money in there, just in paint. And then you don't want to see the boxes on boxes of unpainted Warhammer that I still need to get to at some point. It's all good fun, isn't it? I don't know what you're on about, Foran, but none of that shit, bro. Get the fuck out of here. Looks tidy. What's this music? It's just like stream beats. I'm just fixing up the stream. Sorry, guys. Stream beats on Spotify by Harris Heller. There's just a bunch of music there that you can listen to, and it's all royalty free, which helps when I'm using streaming and stuff and making clips and things like that. So now we're using XV88 as a highlight for the leather, and we're going to do it kind of tippy-tappy, that sort of scratchy look, like that, and that will help add sort of a worn, torn look to the leather, which is what we're after. Was wondering how you always had your models instantly ready to show on camera. Yeah, Sean, they're literally just in arm's reach, taking up space. And I have more in like my little box on the floor. In the limited space that I have here. Would you rather be stuck in Warhammer universe or any other horror universe? Ooh. I think odds are if you're in a Warhammer universe, you'd just be a poor citizen in like a hive city and you'd be absolutely cooked. So that would be no good. So maybe another horror universe that have a higher chance of survival. I don't know what that would be though. Sprint XR, any good places in Australia for 40k in terms of games or hobby? I'm fairly new and want to meet some 40k friends. Whereabouts are you? I think in Sydney there's a lot. Actually, there's a fellow over here on TikTok who has a painting group in Sydney that paint socially and hang out. So yeah, there's lots of like painting groups like that you can join and be part of a bigger community. I know in and around Sydney there's like Dice Arcade, which is a shop that do sort of 40k stuff, sell it, do games and painting days and all that sort of stuff, and also the Combat Company for another one in Sydney that you could look at. And Rara Ruspatine over on TikTok is saying that Perth has quite a few good spots as well. So depending where you are. It's soothing, it's like 80s or something, Nadine. Yeah, it is. It's sort of like an 80s playlist. It's like 80s synthwave is what I was going for there. The album, because they do like sort of albums of it, if I can find it. No, I can't find it. It's just running on a playlist. Do I look up tutorials or get this good, or just wing it? I have watched a lot of tutorials over time, and specific ones to actively improve, like on certain things. I'm just picking out a highlight color for the red. And I found PDF tutorials very useful as well, because then I can zoom in on photos. So I enjoy both video and sort of PDF tutorials as a way of learning. What else do we have here? Was it Combat Company the other weekend actually, TB? Yeah, hell yeah, dude. Combat Company's sick. It's like a massive warehouse just full of like Warhammer stuff. It's great. Rara Ruspatine, where can I find PDF tutorials? That sounds pretty helpful. I have made two myself. I made one on this, the poor dude that lost his arm like 10 minutes ago. It's my second PDF tutorial that I made. The step-by-step how to create and paint your own Corn Berserker. And then I made one on how to paint an Imperial Fist, which are all on my website. But the ones that I've used in the past, El Miniaturista is a fantastic painter. And he has lots of tutorials, I think, that are on like his Patreon and stuff like that. So I would look at that potentially. And the Mighty Brush is also fantastic too. I've had a lot of benefit and use out of the Mighty Brush. Sorry guys, I'm just going to pause for 1 second. Be back in a minute. Alright, we are back. Sorry guys, just gonna fix up the camera there. Hopefully you can see me better. Just saying good night to my girlfriend. It is getting a little bit late here, so she's off to bed. Jitterbug, the Imperial Fist color scheme looks so striking. Thank you, dude. Appreciate it. And back over on TikTok. How do you replicate a certain color if you don't know how to mix paint? Zin, I mean, that just sort of comes with experience. Like I will look at an image or a model that I see online and try and just pick out colors that I think will be able to replicate it. It's really just experimenting is all I can say on that. Black Country Apex. Hello from the UK. Hello, my friend. I am just looking at a reference photo, speaking of, for this Inner Circle companion and his sword. Because we kind of want to go a little bit similar to that. And we can paint it up without an airbrush. So it's quite bright. So I think what we'll do is we're going to paint it all like a grey colour to begin with, kind of like a mid-tone. So maybe something like this. Okay, let's get onto this. We're going to do a bit of sort of wet blending and stuff. This was the stuff that I really loved as like a kid, was the wet blending effect that you could do with your swords. Like you would see a lot of people paint like blue swords that kind of look like checkered patterns and things like that, almost, and it would look like a shimmering sword. People still paint it like that, but that was like all the rage back in the day. Sprint RX, sorry I missed your comment before. I'm in New South Wales, about 4 to 5 hours from Sydney, unfortunately. But I do plan to make a trip to find some people. Yeah, I mean, not sure exactly where you are, but I'm sure there's a group close by, somewhat close by. I know like Good Games and stuff, if there's any near you. Oh, I'm trying to, realizing I'm not showing the underside of the sword there. It's hard to keep it in focus. But yeah, something like a Good Games might be an option for you. Rah rah, when I get home from New South Wales, I'm going to use your PDF for my Corn Berserkers. Can't wait. Oh, thanks, dude. Yeah, I appreciate it. Let me know if you do end up doing that. Let me know. Like, I'd love to sort of see the result of you using the PDF. Send me photos. I'm starting a Discord as well, so maybe Sprint XR, if that's something you're interested in, feel free. I've popped a link in my YouTube descriptions moving forward, because I think I've had a few people ask about a Discord link. So starting it up, I guess it's a place for people to share photos of works in progress, completed minis, just chat shit on Warhammer, and then I can maybe give you guys a bit of a heads up if I'm going to go live on what, if you guys want to tune in. That is sort of the plan with that. Yeah, rah, for sure. Yeah, if you're keen, Discord would be cool, and then other people can check them out as well and see your hard work come to life. Oh and I, salamanders. No, unfortunately this is a Dark Angel Space Marine that we're painting up. The quiet place things may be strong, but that's compared to normal humans. Yeah, we're talking about the different horror universes. I think I watched a video on the Silent Place. Is it Silent Place? Quiet Place things. The aliens actually being really easy to defeat. So maybe those guys. Like in a real world scenario. Oh, thank you, Achieve. Appreciate it. F15 Raptor and Raven Lord, thank you for the Raven Overlord. Thank you for the kind words. How do I achieve the gold effect? So I showed it earlier, but it's literally 2 gold paints. It's Necro Gold from Scale 75. It's a wash of streaking grime over the entire model, and we clean it up. And then we use the highlight of Peridot Alchemy from Scale 75. And this is the result that we get. So let me stop yapping for a moment and let's start painting a little bit more on this sword. So if I look at a reference photo, it kind of goes light up here, dark, light, and then obviously opposite, dark, light, dark. Okay, so let's do that. See if we can do this on stream. I haven't wet blended in quite some time, so it could be shit. We'll find out. We're not going to go too crazy with it in terms of quality, but enough to sort of sell the effect. So kind of light here, and this is going to take quite a few layers, so I'm just sort of sketching at the moment where things are going to be. So light like that, dark, light. I think that's what I said. Nevenichu, hello my friend, how are you? Inner Circle Companions, indeed. I need to ask about the Discord, but I might be able to join. Yeah, no worries, Achieve, it's all good. It's literally just text-based, there's no chat, like voice chat, if you're worried about any of that. It's kind of like a forum that I'm putting together. You can just sort of post your models. But yeah, I think no chat in terms of voice chat. I know a lot of people don't like that, so I've kept it out. Kovic the Honoured, hello my friend. Do I have the Discord made? I do. I think this is the link. I don't know if it works. Oh no, I can't post it in the live chat for some reason. It's not working there. If you've got me on Instagram, Rara, I will send you the link. I need to work out how I can put out a link. I'm not too sure. Bit of a boomer when it comes to this sort of stuff. You missed the last couple of streams, never need to. Nah, that's all good. No worries. I mean, at least you can always watch them back if you want to watch, if you're really interested, but I don't expect you to be that interested. That would be way too dedicated. Okay. Jowie Monster. Do I also mix my own custom colors and go off brand? I will just mix the colors. Like I don't really stick to a brand. So if that's sort of your question, like if I like this gray that we're using now, it's literally just a mix of these two colors, like a really dark gray and a white. These two colors. So it's still a dark gray and a white, just to kind of mix it up as I go, and that's sort of how I tend to paint. Don't kind of box myself into particular, I need to paint with this exact color. I think it's a bit too limiting if you end up doing that when it comes to painting. Sword's looking mint. Thank you. It's coming along. Yeah, we're getting there. We've got a lot of refining to do, but with the sword, the best part I find is once you do some of this wet blending stuff is the edge highlighting stage. When you get to edge highlighting, oh dude, so fun. It really like makes the effect come together. Put the Discord on your channel bio. I will. I'll have to get to that. I've got it in my last description of my live. I think it's saved there. But yes, I need to update that. Too many things being like a content creator. What is this shit? There's too many things that I'm just not thinking about. But I will get onto at some point. Sorely Koskinen. Damn, so good, mix of nice music, and you're clear and calm, very warm voice. Thanks, I'm glad you like my voice. I hate it, but thank you. Cherry on top, top painting, what I'm learning at the moment. That's a very kind comment. You're a legend. Details of the runes last. Yes, details of the runes last, definitely. Because if you want to make them glowy, you'll want to make them last, or if you want to make them dark, you can just do like a black paint or ink to pick out the colors. So that's why it's important to kind of work very light in colors as well, so you don't kind of block up the details. So I might go a little bit lighter as now. So adding in a little bit more white to that paint mix. So even more on the tip, a lot brighter, a little bit more here in the middle. So we're really trying to add in that reflective sort of look. Then we can blend it in a little bit easier or more later. Sorry, when I'm painting this way, it's a bit hard to show you, but I'll try and do it a bit quicker because I know the camera doesn't focus that well when I'm holding it upside down like that. Still working quite with quite wet paint, so we're kind of mixing layering and wet blending during this stage. Are you licking the brush? Says OG. I certainly am. I'm snacking on some of this paint. It's the only way to paint, is to eat it. Right, yep, it's good. There's a few more comments here, sorry. Any suggestions to learn color theory, struggling to find what works well together? TB, Zumakito, I think the name, is a guy on YouTube who's into mini painting. And he does some really good videos on painting and sort of color theory as well. I would suggest just watching a few videos like that to start, I guess, understanding it a bit better. I've learnt all my stuff just through watching YouTube videos and painting tutorials on PDFs and stuff like that. But when it comes to theory and things like that, yeah, you can find some good stuff. Even on TikTok shorts, like not shorts, but like, you know, TikTok videos and stuff like that. Some really good content that can be found. You just gotta, I guess, look in the right places. But yeah, Zumakito might be a good one to start. Looks good, mate. Thank you, Rogue. I just all time. Okay, Turbo. Jesus. Send you a DM and Insta for the Discord. Yeah, easy, no worries, dude. Once I wrap up this stream, I won't be on for too much longer, maybe another 15-20 minutes. If we can get this sword to a nice sort of standard, I think I'll be happy with that. Then I'll get back to you. Does it actually give benefit for licking the paintbrush? I only just started recently painting. I just do it out of habit. It does actually help form the tip of the brush a bit better. So like it helps you get a nice pointy tip, because otherwise you're kind of using your fingers to like squish it together, which is not ideal. So yeah, you'll see a lot of painters do that. Thank you, Kiki, I appreciate it. And who are we painting? We are painting a Inner Circle companion from the Dark Angels box set. So let's try and blend in this dark area a little bit better, because it's a bit too dark at the moment, which is fine. It's just kind of what we need to do. So just go back and forth, back and forth. So wet blending is a test in patience, because it is quite slow of a technique. But it starts to look quite effective fairly quickly. It's just the refinement that takes time. Like so. It's kind of feathering in the edges. If you've ever played around in Photoshop, you'd know like the blur tool or whatnot. It's kind of what we're doing, or the smudge tool. It's essentially the same thing. Trying to smudge the pixels together, but instead of pixels, it's paint pigments. I need to go now. Are you going to stream same time tomorrow? Achieve? Oh, I don't know. I've got a late day tomorrow at work, so maybe if I'm not too tired. Yes, we'll see. Can't imagine being able to do this, says Big Ham. It's alright, dude. Just, you know, if you ever want to give it a shot, it's not that hard to get started. A couple of paints, a paintbrush or two, and a model, and you're good to go. As long as you're sort of happy with painting models. I mean, it's not for everyone, but it can be fun. Wow, thanks guys. Appreciate all the kind comments in there. I just joined your stream first time, by the way. Brian, welcome. Welcome. We have been painting up this Inner Circle companion, but for those of you that might not have seen yet, this is sort of where we've been the past couple of streams. So we finished painting up a Blade Guard veteran. The base is not done because we're not painting the bases for the client. He just wants them as is, and then he will paint them up himself. So we're just painting them up, the models up instead of the base. So yeah, a bit of a Dark Angels commission. And here are the results thus far. And yes, we're working on the Inner Circle companion dude at the moment. Be careful, check those paints are non-toxic. Yeah, thanks Joey. All the ones that I do lick are non-toxic. The ones you want to watch out for are these ones here. I would not be putting this in my mouth, Shrieking Grime. It has a big warning label. Yeah, these are enamel and oil based. You don't want to be ingesting those unless you want to speed run visiting your maker. No worries, TB. I'm glad that can be of use. And Nikolai, I've been painting for about a year, but how do you get your lines so nice? Nikolai, it's just practice, my friend. You probably heard it before, but you just need to practice. Repetition, repetition, repetition. Just like at the gym. If you want to get big muscles, you just got to keep lifting, keep showing up, putting the reps in, doing the work. And to help with that, watch a few tutorials on the models that you're painting or the areas that you want to improve in, because that will significantly help speed up your progress. So as you can see, like, we kind of wet blended this sword fairly quickly. How long did that take? Maybe 15 minutes, maybe 20? I don't even know how long we started working on this one for. But we got it to a decent standard. Like, you could spend ages on this if you really wanted to, and just go back and forth till you have no lines visible. But I think once you add this little bit of edge highlighting for a tabletop standard, I think that's pretty damn good for not too much effort. And we can go in and fix the runes up later as well, which we said we'd do. But overall, that's decent. I think it's kind of giving the effect that we were after. But yeah, Max, it's impressive. So underrated, man. Thank you, dude. I appreciate it. And Rara, thank you. You guys are sick. Too many kind people in the chat. How much time does one model take you to do? Asks a Franconian biker. A couple of hours on average, at least, depending on what standard you want to paint at. But typically about 2 to 3 hours. This one a bit longer, obviously I'm painting on stream, so it slows things down, just because I've got to keep things in frame and whatnot. But yeah, if I'm painting just by myself, I can get some decent work done in a couple of hours. I'm just looking back on the reference photo that we're going off. So it does appear that it's not really glowing runes, they're just kind of dark. Just like text sort of etched in. So we will do that, and we'll just use some dark, probably pure dark grey, maybe a little bit of black mixed into it, and kind of do it quite thin. I think that's the play. Full stop. I don't know your name. Jaden. Bro, my brother used to paint these. Hell yeah. It's a cool little hobby, mate. He does it in 2 streams. Yeah, about 4, exactly, achieve it on average around about 4 hours on stream. It's probably a good estimate. Is this a Nurgle unit? No, it's a Dark Angels Inner Circle companion, my friend. And me, oh my, I had seen one guy take 41 hours on one model. Yeah, man, people can spend a long time painting. People paint for hundreds of hours on single models sometimes, which is insane. But obviously when you're trying to win a competition, it's kind of what it takes. Dedication to the craft. So we're just kind of picking out that rune in that sort of dark, very dark grey colour. Nice and thin so it runs in there. Doesn't really have to be too crazy because it's a fine detail. There we go. That's probably decent. looks alright. And what we're going to do as well, we'll paint this little power node blue, because I noticed it kind of shines a little bit blue in the display sort of photo on the Warhammer website. Painting minis takes so much patience, it irritates me. There was one time I wanted to throw my Angron across the room because of the little details I forgot to paint. Mate, you are literally channeling your inner Angron at that point. But it can be quite frustrating. But try not to let it get to a point like that, because it's no fun. You want to be having fun when you're painting. But I have been there before, that's for sure. Lionel Johnston, hello my friend. We are painting one of your sons at the moment. Thank you. And Jowie, Hobby Fiend, that's good. When you lick the brush, he gave me scary flashbacks of the Radium Girls. Yeah, the pinstripe dials of watches and the paint was radioactive. Yeah, look, definitely got to be careful with those oil and enamel ones, but the acrylic, they're non-toxic. I wouldn't advise you just to go ahead and drink the paint, but if you accidentally got a little bit on your tongue or whatever, it's not gonna do too much harm. Mellow, do I sell these? I do. This is a commission that I'm working on at the moment, so this is his model, but he's just sent it to me to paint. The lion is in the chat, Nevanichu, over on TikTok. He's coming to check in, make sure his sons are not falling to chaos once more. JP just picked up a bunch of models. Dante, Astaroth, Lamades. Hell yeah. Gonna be painting them up. Good stuff, dude. So I said I was gonna paint up the node thing, didn't I? So we'll pick it out with a little bit of silver first. Like so. And while I see it, we've got a little bit of grey on the gold handle, which we can tidy up. Just quickly. The Warpaint Warlord is back. How are you, mate? What's been happening? Do I paint war? Do I play or just paint? Tyrannid Warriors. Yeah, I just paint. Not a massive gamer of the tabletop kind, but I listen to a lot of the lore stuff too. Maximian, man, you paint fast. You pop up every 30 minutes or so, and there's progress each time. Thanks, dude. I try to work a bit faster on the stream, but yeah, we get there. Toshiba, what's your basic recipe for a sword? I do lead belcher with some scratching with iron hands. Yeah, typically I wouldn't be doing this wet blending effect, but because we're wanting to kind of look a little bit similar to the box art, we are adding a little bit. I'm just grabbing the blue paints off my rack. We are adding a little bit of wet blending because it's kind of how it looks, and it didn't take too much time. But for a normal silver, yeah, I would just be I use like one silver. I think it's called two thin coats. It's called plate armor, and that gets the job done. Alrighty, I'm just going to unclog this paint because it always clogs up, this one in particular. And I've squeezed it. I've learnt my lesson to not just try and squeeze out the clogs of paint, because then the little lid goes flying and you end up with like a shit ton of paint just splurted out everywhere. No good. So we're going to paint it nice and thin, kind of like a wash, but not as thin, slightly thicker than a wash, just to slightly go around this power node to give the effect that it's kind of glowing with power. go back in with another one a little bit later. Philip, good morning from Colorado. Is this the same commission we were working on? It is, but it's a different model though. I don't know which one I was streaming up last time, but it's part of the same Dark Angels commission. Fellow Dark Angel, oh yeah, Northern Goose. Did I use Caliban Green? And do I recommend black or white primer? I'm a fan of black primer because the black can also act as shadow colors, whereas the white can't. So if I had to choose, I'd definitely say black over white for most models. Almost all models, actually. In terms of the green recipe, so we used, to get to the green armor that we had, dark green, game color Vallejo, moving on to angel green, mid-tone, and then Scorpy green for the highlight. So a little triad of colors there, and that is the result. Headed to bed, brother. Have a good night. Have a good night, Rara. You are a legend of the stream. Thank you for all your donations, all your good vibes. You are a sick one. I'll catch you next time, and I'll get to your DM when I get a chance. Nick, how to paint miniatures step-by-step guide. First step, paint the miniature. Yeah, exactly. It's like all those artist drawings. No, dude. We've been painting this guy up on stream, so you would have seen him from just a plain looking model to how we are here. Just takes time. Achieve, bro, it's just me, but I love the smell of the Citadel metallic paints. Smells so good. The fumes. I mean, I don't know about the Citadel paints. I do like the smell of glue though. It's probably not healthy, but the smell of glue, I don't know. I guess it just reminds me of hobbying time. So then that's why I like it. It's a bit of nostalgia, but don't go sniffing glue. That's not good. Definitely not good. Jowie Monster has got to go. Enjoyed the stream. We'll be back. You're a legend. Thanks for the sub. Steven, thank you, dude. He's come a long way from where we were a little bit earlier on the stream, so I'm pretty happy with him. We could probably add a couple brighter highlights, I would think. Maybe a bit of pure Scorpy green, just on some of the tippy top edges. Let's just see if that's what we're missing, because the armor feels a little bit flat in some parts. Yeah, I think that's what we're missing. Is the Discord in the description of the past stream? It is. So the most recent one, I'm pretty sure I've uploaded it, and this one as well. So once I stop here, it should go there, and there'll be a Discord link if you guys want to join the Discord. So you can post photos of your models, works in progress, completed ones, all that sort of shit. That's what we're sort of starting it for, because I know a few people wanted to share some minis with some people in the chat so I could see it as well. So yeah, thought we'd start a little Discord so we can keep it going, and then I can let you guys know when I'm going live as well, or releasing stuff. So that is the plan. I think that little bit of Scorpy green is making a hell of a difference. It's kind of making that armor pop just that little bit more. So yeah, Nevin, you should check that out, the last one. You should be able to see a link there. Dylan, what are we painting? We are painting a Dark Angel from the Inner Circle Companions box set. Grey Rat. Grey Rat? Who's this handsome man painting the handsome man? Thanks. Don't know what to say to that. Dark Angel is very handsome, that's for sure. With his little hoodie. Red Mist, is that a salamander? Nevernichu beat me to it. It is a dark angel in a circle companion. Thank you, my friend. It's hard to see all the comments sometimes, so I appreciate it, because I know some people post a comment and then I miss it and I feel bad. So I'll probably finish off this green, and I know a few of you just joined like Warlord, but we've been going for a little bit now, and I'm trying to get on a somewhat normal sleep schedule, so I'm not going to go as late as I normally do or have been, because going to work tired is not fun. I need my sleep, you know. So I'll probably paint for another couple of minutes once we get this edge highlighting done, and then we'll probably have to call it a night, I think, my friends. But we're getting very close anyway. Dad and Dom Gaming, thank you. I'm happy with how it's turning out too. It's fairly simple as well. It hasn't been too many steps. I can't talk. Too many steps involved either. Your mum, hello, how are you? Thanks for stopping by. Although we won't be much longer on live, unfortunately, so it might be another reason to come back next time. We are nearing the end of our painting journey this evening. Is it already in this? It is in the description, Achieve. Yeah, of course, drop in some photos. Once we start building up a bit of community there, that's kind of what I want it to be, as a platform for you to share your works in progress, share tips and tricks, and just enjoy the hobby together. So by all means. And I mean, if I can't always get to helping you out, I'm sure other people in there will help you out as well. We're only just starting, so at the moment there's no one else but me in the Discord. Whoa, we've got some heretics in the chat here. Skulls for the Skull Throne, hey?
Blood for the Blood God, skulls for the Skull Throne, death to the false Emperor. That what we're feeling, boys?
Thank you, Ricky. Appreciate it. And Luke, how are you, mate? Good to see you back in here. Master Chaplain Adnak, thank you for that. He's getting there. I'm happy with the progress, and I think I made the right decision adding that pure Scorpy highlight of Scorpy Green. I think it was what the armor was missing. Just looked a little bit too dull up until that point. So, let me get these little rivet things. Missed a little bit here, quickly. Oh, well I can. What we might be able to do is, if it's dry inside his helmet, I might try and paint the lens up quickly on stream, and that will probably be one finished inner circle companion to our sort of just above tabletop standard. Let me see if paint in there, because there's oil paint in there, which is why it takes a lot longer to dry. See if it is dried. Seems to be alright. Yeah, I was possessed, mate. That's what happens. Live Biz, how many hours has this taken so far? We're probably at about 3.5 hours at the moment. I think I started streaming it yesterday or the day before, and it was at the beginning, and that went for 2 hours, and we're about 1.5 hours now, so about 3.5, I would say. It's a good guess. But normally it doesn't take as long, because I normally don't stream all my paint jobs, and it allows me to paint a lot faster. You like the brown I use for the cloak? Thank you. It is this color here. It's actually just these two. Dark burgundy as the base coat, and then adding in brown rose bit by bit to build up the highlights. I've got a little bit of white on my palette, so we can just use that, and we're going to dot in the lenses. Let's see if I can do this and have you guys watch at the same time. God, they're really hard to do on the inside of the hood, because the hood is blocking the paintbrush. Really struggling with these guys. Normal helmeted dudes, you do not have this problem, and you can do lenses, or I find them a lot easier to do. Like even there, got a little bit where we didn't want it, so just clean it up, start again. Have I tried other hobbies similar to this, like building small engines or lure crafting? I haven't. Dylan? No. I've just been a Warhammer nerd through and through. This is time consuming as it is. I don't know if I'd have time for another hobby, but maybe. GigaChat, been looking into Winsor & Newton Series 7 size 2 brushes, and there's 60 buckaroos in Australian dollars. Do you have any Kolinsky Sable that are size 2 and cheaper, or should I put funding towards the Winsor & Newton? Winsor & Newton, I think actually they used to be the gold standard paintbrush, but I feel like they've taken a little bit of a dip in terms of their quality the last couple of years. I use Raphael, which also do really good Kolinsky Sable, and I've been very happy. I think the price point's around $40, so a little bit cheaper, potentially. So maybe look into that as an option for a paintbrush. They're the ones that I use at the moment, is Raphael Kolinsky Sables. And I think that's good for our little dots. Check out my profile. No worries, your mum. I'll have a look later. What's this? Wasp Bitten. Just got into Darktide and the game is sick, man. Got any ideas how to get into the universe? Start listening to lore channels, dude. That's how I find a lot of enjoyment in the hobby, is listening to the hobby through, people talking about the lore. Or if you'd like to read, there's a shit ton of books to read. So yeah, lots of ways you can enjoy the hobby. But for me, the best is painting. That's where I get the most enjoyment. Details on the sword look glorious, brother. Thank you, dude. Yeah, we did like a quick little wet blend to get similar to what is on the box art. It didn't take too long, so happy with how we ended up there. So let's see if we can dot in this sort of glow effect. So just using watered down Evil Sun Scarlet for the lens. Keep it in focus. There you go, Aaron. I think that's fairly decent. Kind of nice glowy red eyes. Look, I said we were going to stop like a little bit back in the stream, but I think we're pretty much done. So I may as well just paint the base black while we're here, and then we can really see a fully finished model, you know? So I'm just going to grab my black paint. Soul of Shania, hello my friend. Just played a game today, got whipped, and it reminded me that I prefer painting. Yeah. See, that's my excuse. I don't want to get whipped playing the game. Or destroyed, or wrecked, or any of those other descriptive words. Underdog painting. Thank you, dude. I'm glad you're liking it. What paints are you using on the sword, broski? Looks grand. How long did this take you? I think I said a little bit earlier, it was probably about 3.5 hours on stream so far on this dude. So a bit of time, but not an absurd amount. And I say it all the time, but obviously there's lots of new people that dip in and out. But when I paint on stream, it takes a lot longer because I got to keep things in frame, and it's not normally how I paint. I normally paint a lot closer to my face, so I can see details and make less mistakes in doing so. So I have to paint slower when I'm on stream. Yeah, Giga Chad, no worries, dude. Check him out. The Raphael brushes, and Andrew agrees. Big belly, nice tip, 100%. The two ones that I'm using are these ones here, a size 0 and a size 1. And that, I would say, is the only two brushes that you need to paint your entire model. Like I used those two brushes to paint this model. So do with that information as you wish. Yeah, Nebenichu has fun reading the books and see you next year. Oh no, have fun reading the books and see you next year. Yeah, there's a shit ton to get through, isn't there? But Grey Rat, I think it's Grey Rat, says the 40k books are mad. They're grand, they're glorious, hell yeah. And Luton, yeah, that's a sick lore channel too. I've listened to Luton in the past. I don't mind a bit of Weshammer. I also don't mind Major Kill, fellow Australian, for a bit more crude Warhammer lore. Loki and Mikeson, besides Slapchop method, do you have any other tips? I mean, Slapchop is good if you're beginning, because it can get you a decent looking model in a very short amount of time, which is for most people all they really want, and that's totally fine. But if you want to up your painting game, you need to learn how to base coat, layer, highlight, and learn about light placement. So the tips there are practice and watch tutorials or look up tutorials where you can, if you really want to take your painting to the next level. Loki Slapshop is when you have a model that is primed in black, and you can Zenithal prime it with either a spray can, an airbrush, or you can just dry brush it with white paint. And then you put contrast paints over the top, and that kind of paints the shadows and the highlights all in one step. Solar Shania. Yeah, that's fair. I keep up the great work. Thank you, Gold A. Appreciate it. Do I dry brush? Yes, Neminichu. I kind of employ all the techniques when I paint models. I do a bit of stippling, dry brushing, wet blending, layering, base coating, all that sort of stuff. Washes, glazes. Kind of do all these different techniques, and then obviously the airbrush as well. It all helps kind of bring models together. Neminichu, see you, dude. I'm about to wrap up anyway, so thank you for stopping by. Enjoy your food. And what model am I painting next? Don't know. I think it will likely be this one, Achieve. It'll likely be this Blade Guard. But I do have 2 other Inner Circle companions left here to paint. I have more as well, but I just haven't got them to this stage, so maybe might do these guys. Who knows? We'll see what I'm feeling next time, what mood I'm in. But that is it, my friends. That is one complete Inner Circle companion. So thank you for sticking around and, you know, being here while I paint it. I'm quite happy with the result. Yeah, we are still going with this commission. We've still got a fair bit more to go, but I think we've got the fundamentals down for each type of model. So we've got this sort of green, armored, I'd say, you know, burgundy robe look. So all the Inner Circle companions will look like this. We have our Stern Guard veterans, which we've all completed, and they're in the Deathwing color scheme. So we're happy with that. And then we've also got our Blade Guards. So there's a few more that I still need to do, but similar to the Stern Guard in that Deathwing color scheme. And I just fucking dropped it again. Bloody Butterfingers, and he lost his Iron Halo. That is another sad trombone, but an easy fix nonetheless. Just a little bit of glue because that was already broken. So yeah, and to show you the difference, like that was my normal sword that I would do, like basic, just silver. It's nothing fancy. Like if you're just going for speed paint, like whip on a silver, wash it, and then highlight the edges with a brighter silver, compared to sort of like a little bit of a blend, wet blended look that we're going for, which still has a decent effect as well. So that'll do me, guys. Thank you for hanging out. Once again, I will, I don't know if I'll stream tomorrow. We'll see. See how I'm feeling. But between now and then, happy hobbying, and I look forward to seeing you all on the next stream. Take care and peace, guys. See ya.
Yeah.